The Tiger of Mysore, the story of Tipu Sultan, Part 10, Legacy of the Tiger. After the battle ended, silence returned to Srirangapatna. The smoke slowly disappeared, the sounds of war faded, and what remained was a city that had witnessed one of the most intense struggles in history. The fall of Srirangapatna marked the end of the resistance led by Tipu Sultan. But it did not erase his story. It began something else. Memory. Across the land, people spoke about him. Soldiers remembered his courage, commanders remembered his strategy, and ordinary people remembered his leadership. He was not just seen as a ruler who fought wars. He was seen as a man who stood for something greater than himself: freedom, independence, dignity. Even his enemies acknowledged his strength. The British East India Company, which had faced him in battle for years, recognized that he was not an ordinary opponent. He was disciplined, strategic, and deeply committed to his vision. But history is not only written in victories and defeats. It is written in impact. After his fall, Mysore changed. New systems were introduced, new rulers came, new alliances formed, but something remained unchanged: the memory of resistance. Because Tipu Sultan had left behind more than a kingdom, he had left behind an idea that a leader should stand for his people, that courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to act despite it, that innovation and strategy can challenge even the strongest powers. Over time, his story spread far beyond Mysore. It became part of history books, part of discussions, part of lessons about leadership and resistance. Some remembered him as a warrior, some as a reformer, some as a controversial figure, but no one could ignore him, because his life had created a mark that time could not easily remove. Today, when people study his journey, they see more than battles. They see a complete life story: a boy trained in discipline, a young commander in war, a strategist who changed military thinking, a ruler who focused on governance, economy, and people, and a leader who stood until his final moment. His innovations in warfare influenced future developments. His use of rockets inspired later military technology. His administrative reforms showed the importance of structure in governance. But beyond all of that, his story carries a simple message: leadership is responsibility, not power alone, not fear alone, but vision combined with action. As generations passed, his name continued to be remembered in stories, in history, in discussions about courage and resistance, and for many, he became a symbol: not perfect, not simple, but powerful in his determination, because history is not about creating flawless figures. It is about understanding human beings who shaped events through their choices. And Tipu Sultan was one of those figures, a man who lived with intensity, who led with conviction, who fought with purpose, and who left behind a legacy that continues to be studied even today. As this story comes to an end, one idea remains clear: great leaders are not defined only by how long they rule, but by what they stand for and what they leave behind. The Tiger of Mysore may have fallen in battle, but his story did not, and that it continues in history, in memory, and in every lesson about courage, leadership, and resistance. Because some names are not forgotten, they become part of time itself.